Chapter 1032. The First Encounter. Translator. Nyoibo Studio. Editor. Nyoibo Studio. What audacity! The undying Yan Shen warrior shouted angrily. A long spear suddenly appeared in his palm, and he pointed its sharp tip at Luo Feng. Human, Flame Emperor is not someone at your beck and call. Flame Emperor was the absolute ruler of the Yan Shen race, so even though Luo Feng displayed formidable power, this warrior was not intimidated enough to retreat. Luo Feng looked at the undying warrior. Though surrounded and oppressed by his power, the warrior was filled with fighting spirit. The moment his godly power dispersed, it would drown this undying warrior with its absolute power. Yet, the eyes of that undying warrior were so filled with anger that they looked as though they could spout fire. He did not give any further utterance. Luo Feng looked toward the main palace and said, "Flame Emperor, even this lowly undying warrior has the guts to shout at me. Why are you in hiding? This is your sanctuary, where you can control the space and time. Don't you pretend you can't hear me." Finishing his words, Luo Feng waited in silence. Indeed, everyone knew that this was the home of the Yan Shen race, where Flame Emperor possessed ultimate control. If he pretended to turn a deaf ear to Luo Feng's words, that would be him taking Luo Feng for a fool. Mere seconds later, Hong, a strong wave of godly power spurted out from the main palace in the distance and was followed by a complete closure of the sealed space. With a flash of light, a figure appeared directly before Luo Feng. "Are you Luo Feng, the human Blade River Emperor?" asked a burly, single-horned man with a bald head. He wore black war armor and was approximately 30 feet tall. His body was plastered with scales, resembling those of a snake. Even his face was covered with scales, leaving only his scalp bare and shiny. He was a Universe Knight of the Yan Shen race. Luo Feng nodded. "Yes," he said, "I am Ice Deuteron Knight," the single-horned, bald knight said with a smile. "Flame Emperor has instructed me to wait here for Blade River Emperor, and here you are, finally. The moment I learned of your arrival, I closed the sealed space meant to protect our race without delay." Luo Feng laughed to himself. Closed it? He knew the sealed space had been specially prepared for him. As the two conversed, the undying warrior who was oppressed by Luo Feng's godly power could not hear a single word. Ice Deuteron Knight gestured to him. "Would Blade River Emperor be so kind as to release my fellow man?" Ice Deuteron Knight asked. Luo Feng retracted his powers upon request. Ice Deuteron Knight turned to the undying warrior and commanded, "Take your leave. Quickly." "Yes, Knight." The undying warrior gave a few respectful bows. Then, in an instant, he disappeared. Ice Deuteron Knight gave a smile and looked at Luo Feng. "Blade River Emperor, please follow me." Luo Feng followed with a nod. He was not afraid of whatever tricks Flame Emperor had up his sleeves. While he was on his way here, he had met with all sorts of obstacles, and nothing had brought him down. Now that he had arrived at the territory of the Yan Shen race, if Flame Emperor was unable to play nice, it would be an insult to Luo Feng, and an insult to their teacher, Sitting Mountain Guest. The duo teleported directly to the palace grounds. There were endless flames around the palaces, and they burned an empty path right in the middle. At the end of the path, several undying warriors of the Yan Shen race stood deferentially. On both sides, Luo Feng and the single-horned knight walked side by side. "Where is Flame Emperor?" Luo Feng asked. "That is the main palace," the single-horned knight said, pointing to the highest palace in the distance. "It is also where the Flame Emperor resides. The two other palaces on each side are the secondary palaces where common guests reside. Blade River Emperor, please proceed to the secondary palace hall. You may be granted an audience with Flame Emperor when he returns." Luo Feng changed his countenance. Buying time, Luo Feng stared at the single-horned knight. "Is that what Flame Emperor instructed you to do? Did you convey the news of my arrival? Don't bother trying to tell me that there is no way you can inform him at present. Flame Emperor is the one and only universe master of the entire Yan Shen race. He definitely would have caught wind of any news that spread to this area at any time. Don't get so anxious. Blade River Emperor." To his credit, the single-horned knight was not shaken by Luo Feng flaring up. "I have just sent word to Flame Emperor. He is currently in the original star, so, to return from the original star, he could make use of God Country transportation, which will bring him here in no time." Luo Feng said with indifference, "You lead the way. I will follow your arrangements for now and take a rest in the palace. I shall just wait to see when this Flame Emperor will turn up. Please follow me." The single-horned knight showed similar disregard for Luo Feng as he led the way in front. The two walked into the secondary palace hall. After instructing the servants to prepare a spread of delicacies, the single-horned knight left. A nobody. And with such arrogance, the single-horned knight growled once. Outside, he looked toward the palace. With much disdain, he mused, "Even though you are an undying life form, you only possess the powers of a secondary universe knight, at the very best. You excel at escape tactics. Who are you to show disrespect to our Flame Emperor? If not for Flame Emperor's command to not create trouble, I would have shown you the consequences for being disrespectful." Humph. With that, the single-horned knight turned and left. He could not be bothered with Luo Feng. In the secondary palace, a fine spread of delicacies from different locations throughout the universe was served. There was also a fine selection of wine. The food alone would have cost undying emperors their entire fortunes. "This second brother of mine certainly puts on quite a show," Luo Feng thought, sitting at the table. "Someone leaked the news about my whereabouts, and I am almost certain it was him who discreetly spread the news. He clearly knew I was coming, and yet he chose to delay our meeting. I am here by the orders of Sitting Mountain Guest, and I wield enough power to drive the Force armor, which is why I am here for it. This is our teacher's command, yet he is putting on the airs of a universe master." Luo Feng could only shake his head. The Force armor belonged to Luo Feng to begin with. Flame Emperor had been using it for a long time, and now that its rightful owner had appeared, he was in no rush to return it. On the contrary, it seemed he ordered his underlings to deal with Luo Feng so that he could hold on to Force armor. "I shall wait," Luo Feng said to himself. "Now, to see how long I have to wait. This matter has already been blown out of proportion. The supreme beings in this universe are coming after my life. News has spread all over the place, and I am certain our teacher, sitting mountain guest, must have known and is also paying close attention to everything happening here. Second brother, oh, second brother. With teacher keeping an eye on you, I would. Passed. Then 1 month. Then 2 months. And still, there was no news. Flame Emperor still had not arrived. More delays. He just continues delaying. Luo Feng closed his eyes and mediated while staying connected with the virtual universe with his consciousness. He waited in silence. This power was, after all, inferior to humans. He could only wait. *********** Flame Emperor sat cross-legged in one of the ancient forests on the original star. He was attentively feeling for the waves coming from the distance. If precious valuables were about to appear, there would be unique signs to announce their presence. Third brother, he muttered, allow me to tame that arrogance of yours. An extraordinary genius from the human race? I was much stronger than you back then. I shall help you understand why a junior like yourself should respect someone with seniority. Luo Feng had already stayed in the palace for a year or more, and during this period, he had been waiting peacefully and patiently. One day, Luo Feng was meditating cross-legged, he suddenly heard a loud noise. Hong! A powerful force dispersed over his surroundings, enshrouding the entire palace grounds. Every being within the palace grounds, from servants to undying warriors, rushed out immediately to bow their respect. Luo Feng also opened his eyes, then said, finally, you're here. Hong Long. The surrounding time and space changed. Luo Feng merely observed the transformation happening. Then he found himself in a spacious palace hall. On the throne of this palace sat a towering, lofty figure. He was densely covered with scales. With that gigantic horn, he was the very picture of the Yan Shen race. His eyes looked down at the waiting Luo Feng, who felt an intangible power. It felt as if he had been cast into a burning furnace. Second brother, Luo Feng said, raising his head to meet Flame Emperor's eyes. He smiled. Second brother, you are finally here. I, your younger brother, have been waiting a long time. Hong. The towering figure stood up. Step by step, he made his way down the stairs. His godly body shrank as he moved, and by the time he reached the bottom of the stairs, he had reduced to a height comparable to that of Luo Feng. From an earthling's point of view, Flame Emperor carried an overbearing arrogance and ignored the presence of all others. This arrogance was in his bones, his very soul. It emanated from him naturally. There was no pretense at all. This was different from some other proud and arrogant great beings. Flame Emperor's arrogance and self-honor was so convincing that many people exclaimed that he was truly deserving to be their overlord. Third brother, Flame Emperor said, looking at Luo Feng with a trace of friendliness in his gaze. I was on the original star, fighting with countless other great beings from the other races for valuables. I met with the crucial moment when a valuable first appeared. Sir, I was delayed for quite a while. I trust you did not take it to heart. Of course I didn't, Luo Feng replied. Flame Emperor nodded and said, I had a chat with Pu Ti, our teacher, sitting mountain guest, has also given me some orders. As for you, I did gather some informative materials intentionally. You are certainly one in a million. An extraordinary genius from the human race. But you should know that everything you have today is because of Teacher's faith in you. Do not be proud. Train humbly and become a Universe Knight as quickly as you can. Then move on to the status of a Universe Master. Your first brother and I are waiting for that day to arrive. Luo Feng gave a slight frown. He did not like this display of superiority that Flame Emperor was showing, but he dealt with the situation by replying, "Of course, I will work hard. Luck is with you. You can take on the life or death inheritance of the Star Tower to become Sitting Mountain Guest's third disciple." Flame Emperor looked at Luo Feng. That's why you should cherish this opportunity more than ever. Do not ever disappoint our teacher. Second brother, Luo Feng replied immediately, you must know my purpose in coming here. Ha ha. For the Force Armor. Of course, I know. Flame Emperor smiled at Luo Feng. When it came to his third brother, Flame Emperor disliked him. It was purely by instinct. Sitting Mountain Guest had trained the young Flame Emperor wholeheartedly, which was why he had become one of the top-notched, transcendent geniuses of the universe. And now, Luo Feng was not the least bit inferior to him. Even Flame Emperor realized that in the future, this third brother would come to own the supreme true treasure, Star Tower. Thus, Flame Emperor saw Luo Feng as an immense threat. Yet Luo Feng was the third disciple Sitting Mountain Guest had dedicated himself to. There was no way Flame Emperor could put a stop to this. Big brother Pu Ti was the least of Flame Emperor's concern. He had previously been Sitting Mountain Guest's servant, so his powers were a far cry from those of Flame Emperor. But this third brother, he kept Flame Emperor on his toes. Right, said Luo Feng. Here I am for my Force Armor. Our teacher instructed me to obtain it from you when I possessed the power to drive it. So now, here I am. Force Armor is one of the super true treasures in this vast universe, Flame Emperor replied, gazing at Luo Feng. It has limitless power, and you have only just become undying. You are still too weak to unleash its power. You might even lose the Force Armor if it were under your possession. The way I see it, for the sake of the Force Armor, and for your own safety, my brother, you should continue cultivating your power. It is not too late for you to obtain the Force Armor when you have become a Universe Knight. I shall gladly continue to take care of it for you, and when you have become a Universe Knight, I will deliver it straight into your hands.